Hi, Dr. Kathy, how are you? Okay, so I know it's late, but today I definitely want to talk about some questionnaires on sexual compatibility. Now, I've got three, and I know that you guys know how I do. I read them out, and I want you to identify with them so that you'll have an idea of the seriousness of this topic, which is finding out whether you are sexually compatible with your partner. And remember, the new definition of sexual compatibility, it involves understanding your partner. It involves actually anticipating, knowing what you're going to talk about or what you're going to engage in, and avoiding conflict, trying to have a resolution, or actually trying to see the problem before you even get to that problem and then resolve it peacefully or amicably, right? So that's what I wanted to take home with this sexual compatibility. It's no more, oh, what we have in common. Oh, I know that we like this, we like that. No, 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 no. The new definition is now talking about being able to resolve conflict, okay? Being able to even not have conflict, being able to have agreeableness, right? So we want you to be able to have that conversation, write it down if you have to, put it in a vault somewhere, keep it, use it, bring it back if you need to. But the point here is being able to communicate, understand your differences, and resolve them without any aggro, without any fight, and being able to say, you know what, we can do this, and allow the relationship to grow. And as you become more knowledgeable about each other's differences or similarities, you actually have a longer relationship and a better, happier relationship. Okay, so that's the game plan. That's why I'm focusing on sexual compatibility, because remember, in the bedroom, we talked about that yesterday, it really helps with the orgasm. Okay, now I probably won't be able to do all of these tonight, so I'll probably do one or two today. But then I really want to be serious about this. I want you to take the time, see whether you can answer the question for yourself, right? Guys, girls, and let's see whether you can really bring it home to where you are, how you are in your relationship, and see whether we can improve the relationship between you and your partner. Okay, now this is by Hurlbert. He is one of the guys that started this back in 1993. And this is called the Hurlbert Index of Sexual Compatibility Scale. Now, I'm not going to go into the details. I just want you to hear the questions. I don't even want you to worry about whether this is something that you have to answer in terms of writing it down and adding it up. But I do want you to think about it in terms of where you fall in the question. Do you fall to the right? Do you fall to the left? Is it more of you or less of you? That's what I really want you to identify, okay? Okay, I think there's a 25 questions, so bear with me as I go through them with you. Okay, let's see, 25 questions. Number one, my sexual belief or my sexual beliefs are similar to those of my partner. I think my partner understands me sexually. I want you to sort of like find out, where are you? Yes, maybe, no. My partner and I share the same sexual likes and dislikes. Yes, maybe, no. Now, how they rate it, they're doing it for the studies, but I just want you to get a feel, get a grip, understand compatibility. Here they're saying they're talking about similar likes and dislikes, right? But we know that's the older definition, and this is an older paper, so he's going to be basing it more on similarities, not on our newer definition. But it's still the same topic, meaning you need to know to have a discussion. Number four, I think my partner desires too much sex. Yes, no, maybe. Number five, my partner is unwilling to do certain things for me that I would like to experience. Yes, no, maybe. I feel comfortable during sex with my partner. Yes, no, maybe. I am sexually attracted to my partner. My partner sexually pleases me. Number 9, my partner and I argue about the sexual aspects of our relationship. See? So we go into the new definition. We're going to find that we do not want to argue. We do not want to have a row. We want to be able to amicably, peacefully resolve the disagreement, right? Number 10, my partner and I share the same level of interest in sex. Yes? No? Maybe? I feel uncomfortable engaging in some of the sexual activities that my partner desires. Number 12, when it comes to sex, my ideas and values are different from those of my partner. Number 13, I do not think I meet my partner's sexual needs. Again, is that something that's an issue? If it is, it has to be addressed. Remember, conversations, talking, having that new definition, which is finding it out before it becomes a serious problem. And it might be a serious problem you don't even know right now. Number 14, my partner and I enjoy the same sexual activities. When it comes to sex, my partner and I get along well. Number 16, I think my partner is sexually attracted to me. Number 17, my partner enjoys doing certain sexual things that I dislike. Number 18, it is hard for me to accept my partner's views on sex. Number 19, in our relationship, my partner places too much importance on sex. Number 20, my partner and I disagree over the frequency in which we should have sex. Number 21, I have the same sexual values as my partner. Number 22, my partner and I share similar sexual fantasies. And I'm going to pause there. Fantasies are so important. Some people have them, some people don't. Some people believe in them, some people don't. And again, without the sexual fantasy, it really does impede, slow down, stop the orgasm because you have to have some sensuality going on. You have to have some imagination going on. So please remember, sexual fantasies are important. So when they're asking this question here, it really is something that you really need to discuss if you're not having sexual fantasies. Okay? Either with a professional or with someone that can help you understand why. When it comes to sex, this is number 23. When it comes to sex, my partner is unwilling to do certain things that I would like to experience. Number 24, I think I sexually satisfy my partner. I think, I believe, I know. Number 25, my partner and I share about the same level of sexual desire. Okay, so remember, this is an old school questionnaire. I wanted you to see one of the earliest questionnaires that a lot of the questionnaires, the newer questionnaires, refer back to, but they've improved. Tons of questionnaires. But I'm trying to just select a few that we can focus on and benefit from. And this one definitely is the, big kahuna because they started off with this and they were able to expand on this, right? So I want you to understand this is important, but they've got better ones. And I'm going to say better. They've got better ones now. And I do want to go into the other two that I brought, but I don't think we can get into the third one. But this one is by Barry Davenport. She did this May 6, 2023. It's online. The website is Live, Bold, and Bloom. And the topic she has here is, are you and your lover a sexual match? Take the sexual compatibility test. So I believe that a lot of people make their own sexual compatibility test, professionals. And this is one of the professionals that I wanted you to listen to her own questionnaire. Now, she has a little intro, and I agree with a lot of what she says, but I really want to focus more on the questionnaire right now. All right, so this one is more modern, like I said, 2023, and it really gives you more like recent sexual questions that people have. All right. Number one, do you want sex more or less frequently than your partner? If one of you wants sex a few times a week and the other one is content with sex once or twice a week, at some point, the one who wants more will resent the one who is happy with less. I agree with that. Number two, does it ever feel like the puzzle pieces down there don't quite fit? Not all men or women are built the same down there. Some are larger, some are smaller, or angled differently, she says, inside or outside. And if you pair a larger piece with a smaller opening, pain is the usual result. That's just science. Okay? So I'm reading from her article, and it really is an interesting article. So please go ahead and visit the website. Number three, is sex with this person painful for you? She says, this relates partly to the previous question, but there are other reasons why sex can be painful. Some women have a medical condition that causes their vaginal walls to spasm and tighten in response to any kind of penetration, even pap smears and pelvic exams, and sex. And that is a disease. And we don't want you to suffer in silence. Please come to doctors like us, and we can help you. Okay? Number four, does it take you longer or less time than your partner to reach an orgasm? If one of you gets there in seconds and the other one needs several minutes to work it up or warm up, sex will never be all that either. Sex will never be all of that. Either one of you wants it to be. All right, let me read that again. If one of you gets there in seconds and the other one needs several minutes to work up to it, sex will never be all that. Either one of you wants it to be, assuming you both want it to be mutually enjoyable. So she's basically saying that if one of you takes longer than the other, she says it will never be all that either one of you wants. And I don't know if I agree with that. I think more that you need to find out a way to get closer to when you're having orgasms. And again, it's technique. And we are going to go over techniques in the future. Okay, so get ready for that. It's going to be really tantalizing. It might be something that you might have to subscribe for or pay for because it's pretty intense. So I haven't ironed out all the details, but we are going to get into techniques and into actual acts in the bedroom. So when she says, does it take you longer or less time than your partner? I think we can fix that. Okay, so don't worry about it. If it does, just work on it. There's so many things we can do to improve it and shorten that distance. Okay, first thing is, of course, being compatible or finding out if you're compatible or attempting and planning to be compatible. Right, improving yourself, knowing your self-awareness and stuff. Number five, are you more or less interested in foreplay or cuddling than your partner? Now, cuddling is huge for a lot of people. Some people say they've got to cuddle and go to sleep and stay in that cuddle shape or format. And some people can't. So, cuddling again is an individual thing. I think it's very important. But it's important to know, it does make sense. If somebody is cuddling more than the other, then it can be an issue, or wanting to cuddle more than the other, and the person says, I don't want to cuddle. That can be a pretty serious discrepancy or difference. Maybe one of you is into foreplay, but the other would rather get down to business. Or maybe one of you likes to cuddle afterwards, but the other would rather get up and get back to something or fall asleep. In either case, resentment isn't far behind, she says. Yeah, but again, it depends on how serious it is. So, just take it, easy. It might be something that you might need to, discuss, and it might not be, depending on how serious it is. Just realize that everyone is different. Some people love cuddling and other people are just cool with it, right? Just be aware and know that it can be serious if it's a big difference or a big discrepancy. But if it's not too much, please don't worry about it. Number six, Are you more or less inclined to use sex toys than your partner? Maybe one of you wants to take the other to a sex shop to pick out some gifts for your next date night, but the other cringes and shakes their head apologetically, saying, "Yeah, I'm not really into that. Thanks." Big difference, right? Well, depending on the person that wants to get the sex toys, depending on how serious it is, it might not be a big thing. It might just be say, "Hey, don't worry, we don't need it." So again, are you able to reach an agreement regarding that? That's the question. Okay. Number 7, do one or both of you use birth control? Now, birth control is an old school way of analyzing compatibility and sexual satisfaction and stuff, but it is important. She says, and are you both on the same page with birth control? It's not ideal, for example, if one of you is hoping for a baby and the other insists on wearing a condom, using birth control, or pressuring their partner to use something. So, again, yeah, it happens. It's a big deal. I personally don't think it is. But you need to be on the same page. Whether you want to have kids or not, make sure that it doesn't happen if that's not in the game plan. Number 8, are you more or less interested in using erotic films together? Maybe some erotic viewing or reading gets you in the mood, but does nothing for your partner. If one of you likes to start things off with some visual or auditory stimulation, but the other would rather just get down to it, it's worth talking about. Definitely worth talking about. And again, to each their own. You just have to have that discussion amicably. Number 9, have your sexual difficulties ever made you question your orientation? Maybe you're not wondering, maybe you're wondering now if you're just not as intersex as you thought. You've even looked into the asexual spectrum and identified partly with the term sex indifferent. So, is that really you? Or are you just in a sexually incompatible relationship? So, that sexual orientation sometimes can screw you up, right? Can make you confused. What am I? And then you're not enjoying sex. You're not compatible with anybody because it's like you're not really knowing who you are. So, very important to identify yourself and be truthful and come out and say, this is who I am. Otherwise, you'll be miserable for a very long time until you do. Okay? Number 10, are you more or less interested in kinky or rough sex than your partner? Maybe your partner has an S&M fetish and wants to try bondage with you, but you'd rather not. As for rough sex, you might be into it sometimes, but your partner seems to always want to go harder than you do, and it feels more abusive than enjoyable. Okay, meaning you don't feel comfortable. And if that's the case, consent is very important, and saying no is very important and clear. And you have to be clear that your partner understands that. So please, like I said before, amicable, have a discussion, make sure that it is clear to both of you what you both want, and always have a safe word whenever you're doing things like that. Number 11, are you more or less interested in talking about sex than your partner? Maybe you want to talk about it when you can do it to spice up your sex life, but your partner is ambivalent and doesn't really want to talk about it. As important as sex is to your relationship, unless you're both sex averse or sex ambivalent, this is one thing that should be a regular conversation topic. Okay, so I really think that your being, sexual is important, whether you are more or less interested in talking about sex or more or less sexual. Because if you're more sexual and you want sex a lot more, you're going to basically chase the guy away, right? So again, have that discussion. If it's something that is not working out, hey, deuces, bye, see ya, and find someone that you can have more sex with. Okay. Number 12, are you more or less interested in trying new things? If one of you is if one of you is up for trying new things, but the other one is not, it's worth looking into what's behind that difference. Okay? So sometimes people do not want to try new things. I think it's great to try new things, but hey, some people don't want to. Again, have that discussion. Is it an aversion to a specific suggestion? Is it one particular thing that you don't like, but other stuff you're okay with it? Or is it a general distrust of anything but the missionary position? Ooh, gotta find out. right? Are you able to expand? Are you able to grow? Are you able to learn? Number 13, does your partner ever try to guilt you into doing things you don't want to do sexually? You don't really want to know your partner's sexual history, but, and if you do, that's okay, but not too much detail. But whenever you two hit a dry spell, she starts complaining about how the devil is tempting him or her with impure thoughts. And your partner heavily implies that your lack of availability or interest is the problem. So that's putting some pressure on you. So just have that conversation, come to an agreement as to how many times you want to have it per week, and that will resolve the problem. Number 14, is one of you more interested in frequency than in quality? She says, maybe for one of you, frequent sex is the same as great sex, but the other wants to maybe back off on the frequency and focus on quality of your sexy time. Because ultimately, that will contribute more to a healthy relationship than getting it more often. Again, that's something that is individual. Some people think having it frequently, remember the studies say frequent sex makes you more compatible sexually, and sexual satisfaction and longevity comes from all that. So frequency, quality, sometimes you should have, quality and sometimes you shouldn't, right? Sometimes it should be quick, sometimes it should be long. It all depends on what the two of you agree to. Number 15, and I believe that is the last question. Number 15, are you thinking you and your partner get along better without sex? That's her last question. If you're both sex averse or indifferent about sex, it's possible your relationship will do better without it. If, on the other hand, one or both of you are not okay with giving up sex for the rest of your lives, that is a definite red flag and worth talking about. So that is a weird question. Are you thinking you and your partner get along better without sex? If that comes up, therapy, no question. All right, just get someone to talk to a sex therapist, psychologist, and get someone to get to the bottom of it because there are deep-seated roots that could be causing this. So get to the bottom of it. You might, again, have something going on with your sexual orientation. But generally, we don't have these big problems. The question, again, is the degree and the seriousness of it. And if you do, get some psychological help. But I wanted you to understand those are some questions that need to be addressed in your conversation, right? Remember, we're going to write it down. We're going to make sure that we are more compatible in the bedroom and in general. So I do want you to note that those questions were for you. And if you want to play it back and answer those questions with your partner, please do. And I will encourage you to. But I do have a third one, and this one we'll do tomorrow. And this is more for married couples. And there are 35 questions. So this one I might do it more like I usually do, putting the Likert scale, knowing whether it's more or less. And that way we'll get more benefits. Because when you're thinking of marriage, right, it's different, but it's similar to relationships, long-term relationships. So I think we do need to go to that because there's a lot more details and a lot more questions that I think are appropriate in terms of sexual compatibility. Okay, guys? Sorry for some slip-ups there, but I really, really hope you're learning something. I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Take care. Bye.